Hello, and welcome back to Your Story is Your Portal. And just recently, actually yesterday, Jennifer Nagel was here with me again. And we had a very, very interesting few days. So we're going to talk about that today on our podcast show. So welcome back, Jennifer.
Thank you, Julie. I know we had really hoped to do this together side by side so I could be with you with the beautiful tropical foliage behind us both. But here I am back in Vancouver.
Well, we did have it all planned, but we did have a crazy few days. So I think it's very appropriate for this show to talk about what's been going on the last few days and really to talk about, you know, your podcast as well and your book that we worked on together, which is called Magic in the Muck, because this episode really is all about rewriting your story and finding the magic in the muck, because oh my, did we have some muck, right?
We had so much muck. It was such a parallel, right? With your podcast and my podcast and your theme and my theme, and really a universal theme of like the muck and the chaos in the world. And boy, did we have some chaos. but navigating through that, how did we do that given the retreat theme that we were going to be doing and how we had our own version of that in this past week?
Yes, it was really quite amazing that, the way that the universe works. So for those readers that haven't been following Jennifer and I, Jennifer came to Mexico for our Soul Compass retreat. So we were all ready to welcome our participants for our retreat that was due to start last weekend. And on the day that Jennifer arrived, in fact, I think it was the second day, so it was the day before our participants arrived, we were in the jungle and we had just gone on a beautiful jungle walk to go to a sacred tree where we were going to be doing a mandala ceremony. And as we walked out of the jungle, this incredible noise, like a big, loud, kind of whooshing noise.
It was a whoosh.
Right? It was so loud. It was like we were like, what the hell was that? And then as we came out, we actually saw the rain and the wind and the storm literally just like hit us. And we ran quickly to a garage for shelter. And it was a tropical storm that had hit us very, very suddenly. And Jennifer and I were literally holding on to each other as the skies opened and we had like the loudest thunder and lightning. And
truly, yeah, it was like within 2 seconds, just to paint a picture here, it was like more than buckets, like a whole tiny barrel full of water was poured over our head. Within 2 seconds, we were dripping. And we really literally were running for the closest shelter, which was a garage nearby. So, and the thunder and the lightning was so loud, literally, I'm not even exaggerating. It was literally right on top of us and around us. And it wasn't safe to step out. I mean, the lightning, like we could see the lightning where it was striking. It was a little bit awesome and terrifying at the same time.
We even said we could feel like the electricity of the storm. And even though we were sheltered right at the very back of the garage, the rain was driving in, and literally Jennifer and I were like there in our hiking clothes, dripping and shivering, even though, we're in a very hot country. We were shivering because the rain was actually cold from the storm. So we actually ended up standing there for 45 minutes. Until the rain started to slow down. And then we both said, okay, I think it's time to go back to the villa. So we walked like 5 or 6 steps. And then we saw a whole chaos right in front of us. There were people standing around and pointing and looking. And then we realized that what we were looking at was actually the wall of our villa that had fallen on top of a car.
That poor car. Yeah, the whole side of the wall, the bricks and the garden, half the garden had fallen on top of this car. And it was a little bit like, it was not just a little, it was very surreal, because like that's our villa. That's where we're welcoming people who are supposed to be getting on a plane tomorrow morning, the next morning. But we were also in, is the house safe? Is the house going to slide down the hill? Are we safe? Like, it was really this moment of, what do we, going into problem solve, going into action mode, right?
Yeah. And the incredible thing was that, Jennifer and I were both saying, isn't that extraordinary that we weren't even in the villa at the time? And when the storm hit, we were in the jungle. I mean, like, we had just stepped out of the jungle. If that storm had hit whilst we were in the jungle, it would have been really terrifying for us. So it's like the actual timing of the storm was incredible, really. It was incredible.
Well, for so many reasons, too, because even the timing of it, I mean, we'll go more into the story, but even just the contrast between what leading up to the storm, just the feeling into the retreat and planning it out and going through like the workbook that we were planning and the ceremonies we were planning and doing the actual walk, and like it was all this beautiful like coming together. And then the storms hit, the chaos, the foreign element, following with stages of change, the foreign element. And then, but the timing of it, that it happened the night before people were supposed to get on the plane, because we really had to make the tough decision. And it was a tough decision. We really went into first trying to salvage the retreat. First gathering our essentials and getting the heck out of there to safety and to a place where we had power, where we could try to find another location. But of course, that wasn't going to happen the night of a storm and the night before. So that decision to notify people to cancel their flights. But if that had happened, if they were in the air when that happened and they landed in Mexico, we wouldn't have a place to house them even. So,
right. Yeah. So it really was just like the whole timing, like the more we talked about it, the more we were like, this is incredible, really. This is so incredible. So let's look for the magic and the gift in this, because, we were safe. Our villa was safe, even though the retaining wall had fallen down. And so there was no way we could facilitate people there because, the pool was dangerous and the garden was dangerous. The magic was that we were safe. We found a place to stay for the night. And then Jennifer and I had the time to really examine everything, like what happened and, like what is the message from the universe about all of this?
Why is this happening for us? Why is this happening for us?
Yeah, so, it was such a reflective time. And of course, the retreat that we were actually facilitating was called the Soul Compass Retreat. And it was all about finding your true north. And Jennifer and I had been, really feeling into that. Our partnership of me being a book publisher and a book coach and Jennifer being a therapist, and that partnership and my soul purpose and her soul purpose. And how did those two things really come together in a collaboration that was really, really serving people? And, this was going to be our first retreat of this type. And, it was so extraordinary, right, Jennifer, the way that we actually took ourselves through the workbook.
Yes.
Through the dreaming and through
the visioning, the letting go and the releasing, the action and planning and nourishment and the reflection, like all of it, all at once, and the spirals around going through, like we had moments of chaos, like each going through trying to find a place for you to live, and then moving, trying to find help to move all your belongings to another location, So moments of chaos, and within that, I talk about the spiral and spiraling back, and with that, looking at, okay, what do we want to call? What's the vision? What's the dream? What are we releasing or letting go of, or what's been weighing down? So we took ourselves through. It was a very different kind of retreat. It wasn't probably completely unexpected, but the gift in being able to walk through that together and to have that time to do that as we regroup.
Yes. And, and I have to say that it was extraordinary because we really did rewrite our story. We completely rewrote our story, really going through our own process. And outside the other side of that, we have now created the most beautiful collaboration. We have gone back to our root of working together on collaborative books. As you know, Jennifer and I have done 2 collaborative books together. We've done one book, really with not just therapists, but with healers. And, our whole theme of our collaborative books is bringing people together of like-minded people. So we've kind of gone back to that. And Jennifer, where did we end up? What was the magic in the muck?
Well, we ended up with soul story writers retreats, which really is a culmination of both what we were originally planning for the 3-day retreat, where we go on our own journey of visioning and releasing and action and finding, listening to the soul, opening the portal. Your story is your portal. So combining what the soul compass with the writing your soul story, and then the possibility, not necessarily turning it into a collaborative book, but having the option of being part of a collective of soul stories.
Mm-hmm. And I think that was, for both of us, it was this oh my God, that's what this is all about. It's helping people to tell their soul stories, to really look at their soul in terms of what is their soul telling them, and what eventually does that do to provide a portal for your soul purpose, so that you can get a lot more clarity on your soul purpose. And then if it's appropriate, that can go into a book, a collaborative book series, which will be a collaboration of soul stories. And so we love where we ended up. And we can now announce that we have a new date for our soul story collaboration in January. Jennifer, do you remember the dates?
Not at this moment, but I also want to say that there will be a series of dates. So right now we do have dates confirmed for January, and that can be added in the show notes and also added anyway. And so January, I just got back late last night, so I'm still everything's still in my suitcase. But then there'll be more opportunities in 2026 as well. So really landing at a place that feels really aligned and authentic, and it just feels exactly aligned with our soul purpose, and part of our purpose. So
yeah. And I think it's really, I think for both of us, your podcast, your book, and my podcast, and your story is your portal, coaching and publishing. It's so, the collaboration, it's so perfect in terms of the way that we complement and work with each other. And I feel like we can really help people to get a lot of clarity on their own story, because I think people, particularly when you're surrounded by chaos, there's so many people surrounded by chaos right now. So many people that are affected by the energies of chaos and what's happening in the world. And of course, this last week was eclipse season, and so many people had so many things happen to them. I mean, it's even just and by the way, my long-term relationship happened to finish at the same time. That was
the night of the storm. that night of the storm when we were homeless in a restaurant. It's true. I was there. I witnessed it.
Right. So it was really quite extraordinary. All the things that happened, I effectively became homeless. We had to cancel our retreat at the last minute. My long-term relationship ended. I'm looking for a new home for our retreats. And the magic, the true magic in all of that is we found this extraordinary place, which has become my home. And that is where I am right now. It is the perfect destination for our retreats. We have 6 casitas that can be available for writers. So they will have their very own casita in beautiful, beautiful environment in the south end of Sayulita. And it truly is a perfect location for our retreats. And we're absolutely delighted. And really, it was magical. It was totally magical the way that happened.
It really was. And it was really the other magical part too, was the way community came together to help, like even helping you move your stuff. Wally had his pickup truck. How else? We could not have loaded all your stuff onto this little Ranger that they drive in Sayulita. For those of you who aren't, they drive golf carts and Rangers and small things because the streets are so narrow. There's no way. And so having, friends come to help, having friends make suggestions for places and people to contact for finding a place to live. Just the way that people come together to help in times of crisis is also really magical and heartwarming.
Yes. And I think that's the message. And that's the message for this podcast, that, when things appear to be completely chaotic, when you seem to be surrounded by muck and like so much chaos around you, a reminder that you can rewrite your story.
Yes.
And there's magic to be found in every situation that feels just a little bit icky and mucky.
So true. So true. And also, and I'm also just want to express gratitude to our participants who had so much compassion and understanding. Their reaction to the need to cancel at the last minute was just really above and beyond. I really appreciate the way that was handled as well.
Yeah, I do as well, Jennifer, because when chaos happens like that, people can react in several ways. They can either do as our participants did, and they were very compassionate. The first thing they said was, "Are you too okay? Are you right?
Yeah.
Do you have a place to go? We totally understand the situation." Whereas not everybody reacted that way. Some people were, and unfortunately the landlord of the place was not very compassionate given the situation that we were in. So that was very unfortunate. So, having people around you that are so supportive and understanding and compassionate, I think that's just a reflection of the kind of people also that we attract to our retreats, Jennifer, that, resonating at that energy level, that people are just very beautiful, compassionate, loving people, and very understanding that there is situations where there's chaos, there's lots of muck, and they're happy to hold our hands and to really look and understand that there's miracles, there's magic in the muck.
There really is. There really is. Yeah.
So I think that is our episode for today. I think it was a beautiful way to welcome our new year. I say new year because for me it's a new start. I made a new place. This is our new retreat center. I'm starting life as a single woman, and I'm excited about the future. And so I definitely found the magic in the muck, and the fact that Jennifer, my very dear friend and collaborator, was there to help me in all of this chaos. I could not have moved without you, Jennifer. Like your support, your love. You were here for such a short time, and you pretty much spent the whole time working all of my stuff around and carrying things for me and helping me and assisting me and supporting me emotionally. And, you know, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart, because that is, you're a very special person. And that's why we collaborate together.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you. Yeah. And Happy New Year to you, Julie. Happy new life, new year, new everything. It begins now, doesn't it?
It does. It does. I truly have rewrote my story. And that's why I'm going to be calling this episode Rewriting Your Story and Finding the Magic in the Muck. So thank you for joining me again, Jennifer. And I will put all the notes or in the show notes, all the dates for our new retreats. And we'd love to see you and help you rewrite your story and find the magic in the muck. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for walking through today's portal. I invite you to subscribe, share, and join me inside the House of Story Medicine for deeper journeys, book mentorship, and soul story retreats in Mexico. Because your voice matters.
I'm Michelle Abraham, founder of the High Vibe Podcast Network, and we're honored to have Julianne's show, Your Story is Your Portal, as part of our network family. For more inspiring shows like this one, visit highvibepodcastnetwork.com. And don't forget to grab your free gifts from our hosts in the gift vault. Stay high vibe and keep sharing your life.